like, yo, when? When is my success gonna actually be seen by me, like, and made visible? And, dogs barking in the background, birds chirping. It's cold, like almost, 39, 40 degrees at this moment, you know. I woke up and I was like, yo, I'm a DoorDash. And then I was like, oh, hell no, that's not going down today. That's I actually, then I was like, if it says it's busy, I'm a DoorDash for real. And I was riding up the street and, my hands like started to lose feeling through the gloves. And I was like, I need better gloves. So I just turned around and was like, nah, I can't do this. It ever got so cold that you just had to pee. You like, it's so cold. I gotta go to the bathroom. Somehow like this little urine just comes out just a little bit. You're like, dang. It's like it's so cold, it kind of like scared the piss out of me. Like, I mean, that's besides the point, but you know, everybody just coming in, and I hope you're having the time of your life, and even more, I hope it gets even better, like genuinely. But yeah, so I'm just like having the hardest time, like understanding it myself, but at the same time, because I was checking off my list of things to do with business, marketing, promoting, strategy, implementation, even more business research on, how to run the correct ads, how to do it with no money when you have no money, because I'm at the moment where I have no money, and you're like, it's all budgeting, you gotta be able to sacrifice. So instead of eating that day, I'm supposed to take that $10 I was gonna use to pay for that meal to pay for Google ads and hope for the best, I guess, or pay for a TikTok ad and hope for the best, I guess. And I'm like, yo, when is my actual time? Because I have music where I actually did that. I paid for an ad and it went up 3,000 or 4,000, and then, it's like I'm not sure if it was bots listening or if it was real people listening at this moment. And I'm gonna be honest, like I did a little strategy where, I shared or I remixed a video on YouTube, and I'm not even sure. I think that's where the majority of my fans came from. So I'm like, thank you guys for migrating and that becoming fans. And if you're watching, I thank you for that. And I really support it, but we're not gonna get into that. I mean, technically, because I read all of that and it was telling me you're doing good as far as like running ads, marketing, being creative, taking advantage of different, platforms like, Sora and, Copilot, different platforms like that, Gemini, putting together, what ads I can with, the limited resources I have. And when I say resources, I mean actual currency. Because for some reason, I don't think it's that I'm not good with currency. I just don't have enough coming in at one time. That's all it is. It's like because when you be like you got a stable job, and yes, I will put this under jobless entrepreneur, the broadcast. I mean the podcast. So but when you have like a stable job and you're getting like 360 or 460 or 570 or 580 or 600 or even 800, even $1,000, every week or every 2 weeks, it's fixed income. So when you're like door dashing or something, because it's easier for you to just do that whenever, because you can be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to go out here and make 100 or go out here and make at least $50 a day, and you try to do it. If you can make it to where you're making $50 a day minus some expenses, and technically I DoorDash, well, not technically, I actually DoorDash on a bike, but whenever I get a chance, I hop in the car with friends who are willing to take the split and actually drive me around so I can make this work. I mean, it never goes as planned. That's why I'm always like, yo, this must be God's plan for me to be in this situation. And when God's ready to get me out of this situation, I'll get out of this situation. And a lot of times I also feel like when people are ready to rock with me and actually, take it upon themselves to support and be like, I'm gonna wear his brand, I'm gonna rock this ALG brand, I'm gonna go to his website, I'm gonna look out for you, boy, I'm gonna become a super fan. Then that'll also help me get out of get up into a better situation in life. That's a part of my manifestation anyway. I'm manifesting a world where I'm successful. Like, I know I'm not the nicest person. I know I'm polite and I know I'm respectful. I'm not the most respectful person, but I know I'm respectful. I have my grandmother to thank for that. Thank you, grandma. I love you, girl. It's forever. I'm doing it. I'm being me, girl. But anyway, back to reality. You know, it's like, the more you dig in and the more you like turn the pages to your chapters of your book, you turn the pages and you evolve in life, because every day is an evolutionary strategy, every day is an evolutionary path, and each choice, dictates or determines your evolution in life, whether you live or die. At the end of the day, you wake up, you breathe again, you keep your head up through it all, because it's raining and it's muddy outside, it's groggy, it gets cold, gets so hot you can barely bear it sometimes. And this is all like the road to success. I guess this is my road to success. There's other folks that probably have the same situation or feel the same way, and I'm praying for you. You always in my prayers. I'll be like, if it's other people going through this, I hope life gets better for them. Like, cause this is ridiculous. Like, you're like, okay, I don't know if the economy affects me or not, because I've been a little below, barely making it for the longest, even despite working on making it. And you want to tell yourself you light incense, you say you do your mantras with your hand, you pray to God, you talk about it, you ask for success, you ask for forgiveness, it's like, yo, and it's for some reason it barely pans out each time. You might even sit down, because I find myself writing down the plan. I've often, as of lately, found myself in my phone and pulling out my book and writing down the strategies, writing down the plans. And then I wake up and I try to go to plan, and it's like, yo, sit back after sit back, and you like, okay, I need a plan A on top of this plan B on top of another plan C on top. I need a whole repeat. I need to redo the strategy. So I'm always going back and redoing the model. And I'm like, yo, how do I scale this to where it's always going right? And I know there's no possible way, no perfect plan where it always goes right. There's always going to be some sort of setback that's like there, an obvious setback. And you're like, okay, how do I get around the setback? And you find yourself thinking deeply on ways to get around the setback, even if it's like, something like a sickness, or like, it's like to me it's like a sickness in income. Like, that's what I call it, like a sickness in my income process, because you can go out and you work. It's like the person that has the job, because I've been there too, had a job 9 to 5, and you're working, but you got these bills that just keep coming, and then there are new bills and new subscriptions, and you like find yourself trying to budget above it, and then you find out you're spending 15, $20 over your actual income, and you're like, yo, how is this even happening? Like, and then you're wondering why, like, every so often your account is at $20 to $30 all the time, and you're like, yo, I just got paid, my check was like $560. Like, why is it only $30 in my account by Monday, and I just got paid on Friday? And then you like, oh my God, these bills are killing me. You're looking at it, you got rent, you got lights. And this is back when I was like, and then you used to go back and be like on the rent a room status, and be like, okay, you can't survive off of $1,800 a month. That's just not gonna happen. Find yourself finding roommates, or trying to, get in on pad splits, or rent rooms online on Facebook, and the marketplace. Like, yo, when is this strategy of releasing the music or recording the music, you know, mixing and mastering the music, doing a video, and releasing it gonna actually pay off? Like, and then you got people like, yo, when you back in the studio? No, because the studio actually costs money too, and I don't want to make too many tabs. And you're like, okay, what the freak, you know? Meanwhile, you're telling yourself, you sit down, you meditate some more, you put on the 111 megahertz, or you put on the 432 megahertz, and you try to clean your energy, burn some sage, you think even deeper on how great and how amazing you are, how connected to the source you are. You tell yourself the affirmations, reciting Psalms out of the Bible, trying to save your life for dear God. And it's like, oh my God, when is this cloud gonna actually lift? Because people ask me, how do I feel? And I tell them I feel like Job. And they look at me like, well, at least you got faith. And I'm like, I guess that's all I actually need. At the end of the day, maybe God's testimony is this man just didn't break because he had faith. And no, he didn't accomplish anything. He didn't get his music out to millions. He didn't get any sales at his website when he tried to start his businesses. There were nobody rocking his brand. And that's what I do. I'm a clothing designer. You know, it starts off basic because this is what, like I said, the resources I myself specifically have to work with. I know the different paths and different tracks. People are sometimes, I don't know if this is you or not, but sometimes it's like people to tell you their strategies and try to show you the method to being just as successful as them, but it just doesn't work out for you because it's not your strategy, it's theirs. That's why people will tell you, you got to take my strategy and make it yours, because the only way you're going to make it work is by taking the strategy, adopting the strategy, and innovating it and making it yours. Like, that's the only way to make it work. So I sit and ponder on how to do that on every strategy I learn. I'm like, how can I make this strategy mine? How can I do it and just make this me so it can actually work out for me? Because it might have worked for such and such, but my name isn't such and such. So I have to make this work for me, for Joshua, Josie Fuller. I have to make this work for that guy. So, even with my podcast on how I do it with the jobless entrepreneur, I'm like, yo, how it's always how can I convey? And it's not necessarily convince people, because I want you to authentically, genuinely feel in love with my music and my brand. Like, I want you to feel that connection, and I thank you for that. I thank God for the opportunity to do any of this, because it's like, yo, even though when I'm miserable, I'm like, yo, I'm miserable, but at least I'm not a blade of grass. And even if I was, I think life would still be somewhat beautiful, off of the enjoyment, off of, the contentment and stillness of existing. And technically, that's what I feel like anyway. I feel like but a blade of grass amongst billions of other blades of grass, just reaching up, trying to get some sunlight, you know? It's like, yo, I be breathing and I'm like, yo, make it work. Like, God, please just make it work. Like, I'm tired. Like, I'm getting even tired. I'm 39 now. I try to lie to myself and be like, nah, I'm just turning 29. But no, no, I'm 39 now. A lot of times I feel like just give it up, hang it up, you know. And when I feel like hang it up, I feel like just let it go, because it's like I don't want to do things I don't want to do, even though I do things that I don't want to do. I'm already doing things I don't want to do. So why do I have to keep continuing it if my way of doing and living life isn't hurting anybody, and me wanting to be a successful businessman, company owner, and a great father is not that bad of an idea or that bad of a thing to do. Like, I feel like that promotes being a good role model, but I guess they don't really want too many more good role models for whatever reason. But it's like, I don't know. It's probably not that. It's probably just my take on things, and me not being as successful as I think I should be or I deserve to be right now, because I deserve it. Just like you deserve it. I'm no different. I'm just a person, a human trying to make his life better, hoping for the best. You know. It's like you get into it and you're like, yo, when, right? When? When does it all actually make sense for you? So I be like in the same clothes for days, and I really don't have to be, but my mind tells me I have to be, because I'm not in the situation to be like, this is my kingdom, this is my house. But in my mind, I'm working on that and I'm developing that, So it'd be like, yo, you gotta visualize your success. You gotta visualize what you want in life. You gotta visualize it first. You gotta be able to visualize it. So I close my eyes and I visualize me in front of 70,000 people. Me, with millions of people, billions of people watching from their televisions, singing. Hey, baby, you should know that you got me wrapped around your fingers. And lately, you've got me deeply gone over you, baby. I feel like I'm in the danger zone, yeah. Love, I'm lost on you, baby. What you do, girl? What you do? You run my mind crazy. Got my heart flattered full of butterflies every day lately. The danger zone seems ever closer. And loving you is like dangerous for my soul, baby. Yeah, I said loving you is like damage to my soul. 'Cause if you ever leave, it'll break me down. You might break me down. Oh no, 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 no. And then I'm there. You feel me? I'm at the show. And I'm him. You feel me? I'm him. You feel me? But when is that gonna happen? When is that time coming? Like, that's what I wanna know. Or maybe this is that universe where I try and I just never make it. And I die an unsung legend, you know. Hey, I'm good either way. I thank God either way for the chance and the opportunity, but I'm gonna keep hoping for the best. I'm gonna keep manifesting and then visualizing, visualizing my success, visualizing waking up to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, $200,000 in my bank account, $1 million, counting it. I got love to give. I got love to spread. I got my lips to put some chapstick on, you know. It's like I'm in the garden, tending to my garden, tending to the business, trying to make it work. Yeah, I'm fed up. You fed up. A lot of people are fed up. But we should all keep going, keep innovating. We're here. Be thankful. We can still do that. I am. You don't gotta be. I'm just saying. I am. Take a deep breath. You know, wherever you are in life, I hope you're having the best life and you're enjoying it and experiencing the best that God has to offer. And even more, I hope it gets even better for you, and I hope it gets better for me too. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep trying. Keep goddamn wishing on a star. And I don't necessarily call it living the dream because being a R&B superstar is a reality. It's actually a position or a career you can take in life. So, and being a businessman is an actual career you can take in life, and entrepreneur. So, I don't take that as actually living a dream. Like people be like, "You're living a dream." No, the hell I'm not. Look, I'm living a life where I'm trying to see the dream. I got my happiness. Now I'm trying to see the dream. I'm trying to project my happiness to the outer, and that's going to take you, the fans, the people that's watching, those one fans this, it's just going to take all my fans. It's going to take all of y'all, man. It's gonna take all the people. It's gonna take people that ain't even fans. It's gonna take complete strangers. I love you. I love you for being who you are, because you're the reason I was able to be successful in life. So thank you for shopping at my website. And thank you for streaming my music and making this all a reality.